Hello, guys. Welcome back to the channel. It's your girl, Hads. This episode, so last week I took a break. I gave myself a break. I told myself I'm not doing anything work related for, I think it was like Monday through whatever. I wanted to take the week off check ins with my clients and also just do some backing things, but also allow myself to have a break because I often do not do that. And it's very annoying that I don't do that. So I told myself I was going to do it and allowed myself to do it, gave myself permission to do it. And it was honestly the best thing ever. So without further ado, I hope everybody had a really very good Christmas and I hope that everyone's looking excited, kind of gearing up for the new year. Honestly, myself, I like to reflect on calendar year and see, okay, like what did good this month, what did good that month, etc., etc., and then play off of that and replicate went well, take out the things that went bad, whatever, but just know that each year, like continuously evolving is something that I'm always striving for. So I've been doing a lot of reflecting, and I can kind of share with you some things that you can do to reflect on your year as well. So here's just some questions that you can ask yourself for your year. So write down 1 through 7. The first one being self slash core values slash identity. You're going to rate yourself on all of these 7 things, 1 out of 10, on how you feel that they went for you. And then underneath that, you're going to kind of put your reasoning for that. So, for example, self, core, values, identity, I put 7. And then the reason I did that is because I said I didn't do my podcast consistently. I fell off. I slacked my meditation. Don't worry, we're not going to just slam ourselves into the ground with this. We're actually going to make sure that we're having actual steps to make sure that we get into a better spot and make these scores go up for the next year. And so that was number 1. Now, number 2, we'll do physical health. Number 3 will be emotional / nervous system. So you may want to have a pen, pencil while you're doing this or just listen along, whatever. 4, relationships. 5, purpose / work. 6, finances. 7, spirituality. So all of those you're going to rate 1 through 10 how you felt. So another example for myself on number 2 was for physical health. I put 6. I didn't physique not where I wanted it to be. And then I also got H. pylori, which is annoying, and my gut was out of whack. So stress took over. I neglected my stress. So we'll get into the next part. But this year, I really want to focus on regulating my nervous system in a way that feels good to me and my body. So make sure underneath all of those, you put like why, the reasoning behind why you feel that way with your scoring. And then the next thing is what did really well for you. So if you're somebody that's like me, it's like very hard on yourself, this might actually be a really hard thing for you to do. For me, I wrote rebrand of my business. I put saying yes to the things that are more fun. I've said showing up for my people, discovering new hobbies and doing things outside of fitness. I started a dance class. I started a new scrapbooking hobby. I started to read more. I moved into a house on my own and I did a lot of things. And I think you really, really, really need to dive deep on the things you did well on because I guarantee you there's so much more than you think. You're so much better at life than you think you are at handling the things that you do. So give yourself credit where credit is due. And if like, Hadley, I really am not, then make sure that you are that person that does that. Number 3, the number third thing, one actual step for each section. So going back to those 1 through 7 things that I kind of listed off. So what is one actual step for each section? For example, I put podcast once a week. That was for myself / core values / identity. And this can be as simple as like showing up to the gym or showing up to X even when I don't want to. Like for me, I slacked my podcast so much. I neglected it so much for whatever reason. And that's just not me. That doesn't align with who I want to be, the person that's of her word and does what she says she's going to do. And so, podcast once a week. I add in one extra training day to get my physique where I want it to be, because I had only been doing 3 days of training for the whole last year, a week. And I want to get back into 4 days of training. I put breath work, meditation more consistently, create business community, continued education daily. These are just like for each of my sections. And then another thing too for like my financial that I wanted to say was like I do not want to make any new investments for 2026. The past 2 3 years I have invested so much into my education, into mentorships, into all the things that I have just been like study, implement, study, implement, study, implement. And I have not actually just been able to like fully just chill and breathe and not always be constantly consuming. And that'll bring me into my 2026 ins and outs. But that's just something I realized was like, okay, Hadley, you don't have to be doing every single thing that you see that sounds appealing. Do what you know is best for you. And so I'm proud of myself for realizing that I do not always need to be investing and trying to make myself better in the sense of that. Like, yes, I should be growing and evolving, but I have plenty of books, I have plenty of knowledge, and now it's time to go and apply that knowledge that I do have. And then the number 4 question is specific areas I want to improve on. These are not goals, these are just areas that you want to improve on. For me, I put more time alone, solitude, no phone, simulation. Like I just want to be like what are the people? I just want to be like people that just sit here and like meditate and just sit and look at the wall and just go out and sit in the grass and walk and just be in nature and not have any distractions. I want to be someone that does that because that really sparks my creativity. Excuse me. And it just makes me feel comforted and peaceful within myself when I do have that. And I think a lot of people really shy away from that because they don't want to have to sit with their thoughts and their feelings. But I love doing that. I love saying, okay, I'm feeling X way. Where is this coming from? Why is it coming up? And how can I navigate and redirect myself so that it's not fully taking over my day, my life, etc. So that's me. Solitude is going to be something that I really strive for. And then number 5 is definite aims. So, what are you moving towards? Instead of having one specific goal, what is the definite aim that you are moving towards? So, a couple of mine were speaking, and that is in form of podcasting. I want to get back on my YouTube vlogs and also just in my content, how I talk to my clients. I just want to become a better speaker, more articulated, saying less like just having better communication skills all around. Community, client community, friendships, just building that sense of community within where I live because I think that is very important since I have a community online. I want to bring that in person, but I also want to enhance my community online because it's not where I want it to be. I know I could have a bigger community within what I do. It's just about leveraging that in the right way. And so just being authentically myself and making that come to fruition is something that I genuinely want to happen within this new year. Serving was my other one. I wrote down relationships, clients, and communicating myself for others, and the CEO coach that I want to be. So, myself. And then my last one is joy. And actually, this brings me into my word of the year is I want to have joy. I want to find joy in the little things every single day. And I want to have things that bring me joy. So, hobbies, travel, solo trip inside of my work, relationships, just finding the joy in every little thing. Like just sitting here looking at my office, it brings me joy. There's some things I could add. I want to add some pictures and some kind of motivational type wording to the walls just to make it more fun and pop and bring me joy, like I said. And so this year is going to be about finding the little things in every day that bring me joy. Like looking at my bookshelf right now. I love books. And so seeing all the books that I've read, I actually have no more room for anything on my bookshelf right now. I have a stack just going on my bench over here of what I want to read. That brings me to my next thing. I also got a Kindle. And just looking at those and knowing, oh my gosh, I have a plethora of knowledge that I love reading. I love the color pink. I have organizational skills. I have this whiteboard. All of these little things bring me so much joy. And that also ties in with the gratitude thing of I have so much things to be grateful for. I have so much stuff, and one thing that I think I do often is compare, and comparing is a really big thing. I should also write down that I need to work on. I think this will also help whenever I remove being on social media so much. Being on social media is my job. I understand that, but it definitely zaps my creativity and makes me compare to what others are doing. I want to stay in my own lane, stay in my own bubble. But like I was saying, I think that I compare what I have, what I do, my success to other people's. But if somebody were to, from an if I were to look at my life from an outside perspective, like being outside of my body and coming in, taking myself out of, okay, yes, this is Hadley, this is my room, this is what I do every day. Like taking myself out of that person and looking as if I'm not Hadley, that's how I can practice more gratitude for my life than myself, because I'm looking around at all of these things that I have. I have this beautiful desk, this PC monitor, I have this couch that I'm sitting on, I have this cute shirt that I absolutely adore and I love. I have 50 million notebooks because I'm a note-taking queen. I have this freaking amazing computer that I'm able to connect and get so much work done. I have pink things that bring me joy. I have this microphone so that I can sit here and communicate. There's so many little things to be grateful for. And that's something that I have been genuinely taking for granted. I will call myself out and say, I have been extremely ungrateful recently. And it's upsetting and it's disgusting to me that I've been that way, because I'm always chasing instead of just being really grounded in what I already have and being patient that my time will come for what I want, and being grateful for the things that I do have so that the things that I do want as well will come easier because I'm already practicing gratitude for what I do have. And I need to write that down. Where's my pencil so that I can really hone in on that, because that is something I've neglected. I should get back into my gratitude journaling, just should get back into my daily journaling all around. So maybe I'll come up with a couple little things, or get back into my 5 minute a day journal, because I feel like that really helped me. We go through phases where we're really good at this thing and then this other thing falls off. And so I think it's okay to note and notice that there's going to be seasons for everything, and seasons where you're really diving deep into this and seasons where you're really not diving deep into that. And you cannot do everything all at once. But I think having a little conversation with yourself of, okay, what do I need to remove and replace that with so that I can feel better about myself? So, for example, instead of getting on my phone and checking my emails, my Slack, whatever, I can do that at a later time. Use that 5 minutes to write my daily gratitude, to get into the Bible, journal, whatever it is, to make me feel more calm, at peace, and just starting the day off on a high note instead of the day on a stressful note. Because I have been known to do really well at that. And I've done really well at the journaling, the meditation, and I just fall off because, you travel, and then once you get back from your travel, it's very difficult to get back into that routine, because you're trying to do everything at once. And so I think it's more of like a gradual, okay, now I'm going to start getting my cardio back in, because then you get overwhelmed and you get burnout. And personally, I do, and I know other people do. All right, let's get into the 2026 ins and outs. Where is it at? I have so many things. Oh, before we get into that, I want to talk about something that my business coach, actually, I hate calling her a business coach because she's more of just like a mentor, and yes, she knows what she's doing business wise, content, helping me, grow with my clientele and whatnot, and actually become a better coach and a better leader. But I feel like she's so much more than that. So she had me, I would message her and I said, why am I feeling stressed out to like change every single thing for the new year? And she said, hey, don't do that. She said, instead of focusing on what you need to change and like what specific goals you're trying to achieve, let's focus on what you want to feel. So I wrote down some things that I want to feel. And this kind of goes off of what I mentioned a couple pages back on shoot on the definite aim, the words that I came up with. And so writing out 4, 5, 6. I wrote down 7 things that I want to feel, and then her her task underneath that was writing in kind of an instruction manual underneath that of how you're going to get that feeling to happen. And so instead of I want to lose the X amount of pounds, yes, you want to lose that, but what is the exact feeling that you are going to feel because you've reached that goal? If that makes sense. So you focus on the feelings, and then the goal will come as a result of that. So just as an example, I want to feel accomplished. I work on things that move the needle forward, not busy work. And within accomplished, nowhere did I write, I want to make X amount of money. I want to have X body. Like, no. So where did I write my, because I did more. So yeah, I put creating something I'm proud of, finishing one thing before moving to the next, purpose behind my actions. That's what's going to make me feel accomplished. So I wrote 5. I rated them this morning, my 5 specific ones. So what do I want to feel? And then what are the steps to help me get to that feeling? I put stability, peace, accomplished, presence, and obviously joy. And then the steps to get there. You can do like 3 to 5 sentences or little bullet points of how to get there. So let's get into the 2026 ends and 2026 outs. I realize we're 16 minutes into this already, and I haven't even covered the main topic, but I feel like we should mention all the things that we've accomplished, done, so that we can get into the new year things and what we want to do. So let's start with the outs, because I feel like the outs are more kind of like negative, but I want to say my, not negative, but 2026 ends will be more fun. So let's start with the outs for myself. 2026 outs for me. Doom scrolling. I will find myself on the couch at like 8 p.m. at night, and it's like, oh, I just worked all day. I just accomplished so much. Now let's get a really, big dopamine hit by scrolling. And you do not even realize how long you're scrolling, and it pisses me off. I feel like shit after every time I do it. So I'm going to utilize my brick more, which is my thing that tells me to, or my thing that blocks my social media apps from my phone. Another thing, ghosting people. Do I need to speak any further on that? I don't think so. I think everybody knows what that means. I'm tired of ghosting. That's all I have to say. Please communicate. One-sided relationships or friendships. My mom said this to me the other day, and it kind of annoyed me, because I was like, no, maybe you're right, but she said that in any relationship, friendship, whatever, there's always going to be somebody that gives more, and you have to be okay with that. And it annoyed me, because I feel like I am always the one that's like giving the 60% or the 55%, and they're giving the 45%. And that's annoying and frustrating to me. But they may also be thinking the same thing. So I think just both people applying themselves and prioritizing the relationship, the friendship in itself would be great. So the one-sided relationship's got to go. 2026 outs, consumption, shit food, clothes, media, things in general, things that you don't actually need. I don't really feel like I have a things issue. I love books. I love things that are going to make me, I just said things. I love things that I'm actually going to use and utilize, and that bring me joy. So whenever I'm thinking of things, okay, is this going to bring me joy? And I guess you could say with food, yes, there is food that brings me joy, like going out to eat and whatnot, but it doesn't need to be something that is constant. And I don't think I have a problem with going out to eat a lot, but I would overall like to less consume shitty food in general. I like going out to dinner and having like a nice steak dinner, whatever, but I think when I say shitty food, I mean like a pizza or burgers, or just less of that, which I don't feel like I do a lot of that, but just less of it in general, just to make myself feel better. Less of this, especially on the weekends. Negotiating with myself, with yourself. Definitely out. Negotiating with myself to do the podcast, to fold the laundry, do the fucking thing. That's going to be my thing, is do the shit, and telling myself that even when I don't want to do it. Nothing in me wants to fold the laundry. Nothing in me wants to do whatever. Do it anyway. I don't care. Stop negotiating. Skinny. The skinny trend. The Ozempic getting so extremely skinny and you're not eating enough protein and you're not going to the gym and building muscle. That shit is annoying to me. That is so annoying that you're trying to be so skinny. When you're skinny, you're frail. I just made an Instagram post about this because I'm so fed up with seeing people be so ridiculously skinny. And I've been there before. I've wanted to be the smallest version of myself. And it takes a lot of work to get out of that space and want to actually look curvy for yourself. Look curvy and feel good, because nothing feels better than actually having a little meat on your bones and not being cold all the time, not being starved, not always thinking about food. Whenever you're actually healthy, I can honestly say I don't think about food as much as I did whenever I was trying to restrict myself and eat as little as I could to maintain a small, little, tiny physique that I actually hated, because I was small and there was no curves and there was no muscle and I just looked like a stick and it was disgusting to me. Anyways, over exercising is out. I see people running every day, going to the gym X amount of days a week, doing too much. We already live in a stressful world environment. Why would you want to add that additional thing to your plate? You're overdoing it. Your nervous system is already fried. If you don't have a period and you're over exercising, please stop over exercising. Stop training for the high rocks. Stop training for the things that are killing your body. Looks cool on the outside, but I know inside you're dying. Not actually, not literally, but you feel like it. Over reliance on caffeine. If you need to rely on caffeine to get through your day, you're either one, not eating enough, two, your nervous system is shot, or three, you're not sleeping well. You're overdoing it. Goes back to over exercising. Doing things on your own. I think we have become so far like independent that we're scared to ask for help, when actually help is exactly the thing that we need in order to propel us forward. If somebody has been in your shoes before, if they've gotten out of it, they know what to do. This is why when you ask your parents, when you ask whoever for help that's been in your exact shoes before, it's okay to do that. They've been there. They know what to do. Same thing when you're in your fitness and your health journey and you're trying to hire, or if you're wanting to hire a coach, or if you're not wanting to hire a coach, but you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. That's the exact reason why you should, because they know what to do. They have plenty of results to show for it. You need to trust them on it. Following every trend you see online. There's so much stuff on TikTok, on Instagram, just like everything is so trendy, and just originality and authenticity is going to be following trends, I swear, every single time. I don't know what it is, but that's my thing. Stop following the trends. That's out for me. Believing. The next thing is believing everything you see online. Why? Like a news thing, a little article comes up. Why are you believing that? I'll talk about this in the ends, but use your discernment. If you see something and you're like, that's retarded, that's not real, cool. That's your discernment. Use that and apply it to your life and don't look back. That's simple. Another thing that's out is effed up hormones. And I mean a missing menstrual cycle. I mean cortisol being through the roof. I mean your thyroid being out of whack because you eat the crappiest foods, because you don't rest, because you don't sleep. Hormones are a byproduct of your habits. Effed up hormones are a byproduct of your habits and the things you consume. Now, the PCOS, endometriosis, these are things that you can manage those symptoms and you can pretty much eliminate those symptoms. Doesn't mean you're not going to still have the PCOS, endometriosis, the things, but just by changing your lifestyle, your symptoms will dramatically improve. And it takes time. It takes so much time and discipline and patience. I would say it's equally as hard as a calorie deficit and losing weight. And that's not even hard to me. I would say it's equally as difficult as a contest prep, as a bodybuilding prep that I've done. Okay, last one is so far-fetched, but I needed to say it. And that's being dehydrated. I was with my mom and she had like this little, it's like little Dasani waters. That's the only water she had all day. I was like, girl, no wonder you're falling asleep over here on the couch every 5 seconds. Anyways, I'm straight calling her out on this episode. All right, let's get into the ends. That was my outs. Building muscle. Need I say more? I've already kind of mentioned that on the skinny side that's out. Build muscle. The more muscle you have, the more you can eat. Go to the gym. I'm cool with the Pilates, I'm cool with those things alongside the gym. The gym is always going to be the foundation. You building muscle will 100% always be the best thing for your health. And I stand on that. I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh, but like what about walking? What about cardio?" Yeah, those are cool, but building muscle is the key foundation. 2026 in hobby hunting. If you don't know, I started scrapbooking and I absolutely love it. But I'm also going to be trying out other different forms of hobbies. And I'm going to look up like what, like some popular hobbies. I will golf once it gets warm again, but I don't do that when it's cold. Another thing that's in giving a shit about how you look. For the longest time, I was like, oh, it doesn't matter. Like, this is just me. This is just, no, I want to care about how I look because how I look shows exactly who I am as a person. And if I look good, if I play the part, I know that I'll show up so much better. And people around me will notice that too. And they will take me more seriously. You will get taken more seriously if you start giving a shit about how you look. No doubt. I have given a shit about how I look for a really long time. I think since I've been in high school, I got like best dressed however many years. That's beside the point. But I would put myself together and all my friends would be like, oh my gosh, Hadley, I don't know how you dress up and look nice every day because I want to look good. When I look good, I feel good. I was a valedictorian. I had great grades. I was a good athlete. Like, whenever you put effort and energy into yourself, it shows on every other aspect of your life. Your teachers like people like you have more friends. There's just nothing better than that. I'm sorry. I stand on that. Inconveniencing yourself for others. I think I've this is kind of going into the ghosting and the just saying like, "Oh, I can't make it last minute." Inconvenience yourself for others because it is so upsetting to the person whenever you make a promise and you don't fulfill that. Or you're like, "Oh, wait, actually, I have no, we made plans." Stick to that. In-person community. This is definitely an end for me. I want to build that community like I had mentioned earlier, and I think that is in. How can you build a community that's in person, not solely online, so that we can get back to what really matters, and that's personal connection. Next thing, genuine friendships. I so badly crave a genuine friendship. One that where I can tell that person anything and them not judge me. And I don't know why that scares me so much, but I think that's in. I think that's really in. Documenting life more instead of consuming, documenting. And so that's why I want to start my vlogs. That's why I want to start documenting things. I want to look back and be like, oh my gosh, I was a cool ass girl. I did cool things. And once you document your life, it's not that you're bragging, you're just simply showing, hey, this is what life looks like through my lens. Learning how to actually eat for a healthy mind and body, not just for aesthetic goals, but for mentally. And a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I hate diet culture because it's so clean and woo and whatnot. It is, and it's the thing that will feed your mind and your internal body more than anything else. Cool. Yeah, I love that you follow macros and that you can hit your macros with eating a cookie every day. But I don't love is that you're going to be having that sugar every single day and your body doesn't like the refined sugar, the shit that's not grown in the earth. I hate to say it to it. Hate to break it to you and say that, but it's so real and it's so true. Eat the things that come from the earth. That's not diet culture. That is not being restrictive. That is simply taking care of your body. And I'm sorry, but it needs to be said. Love you. Bye. Time spent in solitude. I mentioned this as well. This is so in. No time consuming, scrolling, reading a book. Just sit there. Just sit there. I have simply just laid on this floor before and looked at the ceiling for an hour at a time. And I have come up with so many ideas to create. I'm creative. I have stillness and groundedness in me because I do that. And you're like, Hadley, I don't have time in my day to do that. Find the time to do it. If your screen time is over 5 hours a day, I guarantee you have time to do that. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Okay. Next one, reading books. I got a Kindle, and so I've already read 2 books since I got it. and that was 6 days ago, and I'm going to finish this other one. Actually, no, I'm not. I know I'm not going to, because it's like 400 some odd pages and I'm only on 140. I was going to say I was going to finish it, but there's too much to do and I don't have enough time to do that. That's beyond the point. Whatever. Reading books, that's in. Critical thinking. So I think this could go on the out. ChatGPT and AI. I want to delete it so bad. So bad. I want to delete my account. I'm deleting it off my computer. And every time I try to get on ChatGPT, I'm going to tell myself, no, 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 think for yourself. What would Hadley do? Discernment. I mentioned this on the outs, kind of being the flip-flop opposite, but using your discernment whenever you see things or you hear things or somebody tells you something. Not everything somebody says is always going to be Bible. Take out what you need and leave the rest. You don't have to sit there and be like, oh, but this, oh, but that, oh, but what if I don't? I saw this girl's TikTok and she was like, it was like how to make a blueberry pie or something. She's like, but what if I don't like blueberries? People have become so like, what about me? What about me? Yeah, what the fuck about you? Honestly, what about you? And then this last one is just kind of silly, but routine lab work, making sure that you're healthy. Please. From a young age, I don't care how old you are. I started getting labs consistently when I was 19. 19 years old, I was getting labs consistently. You're like, holy shit, that's young. Yeah, I don't care. I want to be healthy until the day I die. Until I'm gray haired. Okay, those are my 2026 ins and outs. I'm excited, really excited for the new year. I've been doing a lot of planning, back end things for my coaching company, and just really sitting with what I want to do. And another thing I want to say is it's so easy to have this really big high, like new year, new goals, but it can be hard to stick to them. And it will be hard to stick to them. You will want to veer off the track, and you will, and that's okay. And what's important is that you don't give up. You get back up on your feet and you try again the next day and the next day and the next day. And you don't fucking give up, because giving up is what losers do. And you're not a loser. Promise you that. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning into this episode. I love you and I'll see you in the next episode. I think I already said that. Bye.